Bomba. Para, para, para.
Our parents said go to school, you better get that degree. I'd rather be successful overseas. Hard on the grind from Aruba to Lily. Money riches, let's get. Money riches, let's get. Making art makes us happy. One day our dreams might pay the bills. Making art makes us happy. One day our dreams might pay the bills. Making art makes us happy. One day our dreams might pay the bills. Making art makes us happy. One day our dreams might pay the bills.
Yo, what's up, guys? I'm Yeremyh Maduro.
Yo, I'm Patrick Ricao, otherwise known as Code Noir.
I'm Yeremyh from Sombre Visuals.
Yo guys, this is Patrick Everon right here.
And I'm Yeremyh Maduro from 2525.
And this is the 2020 Collective Podcast. Welcome back. Episode
Woo!
3.
Yo.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Aight.
Yeah.
Excited.
Keeping it going.
Keeping it moving.
Yeah, keeping it moving. Keeping it rolling.
Staying hype.
We alive.
Alive. We've been alive. We're alive.
Are you alive or are you living?
Are you alive or are you living?
That's always a
Mm.
question. Speaking of questions, we got a story today.
Yeah.
I think.
Story
It's story
time.
time.
Story time.
Story time.
Yay.
To start
Alright.
things off.
Yes. So basically, if you guys watched the previous podcast, we already explained we have story time, and to this week.
Which is a segment called True or False.
Oh yeah, the segment is called True or False, and this week it's my turn to tell the story.
Ooh.
So you guys ready?
Can't wait. Let's see
Alright.
what this is.
I bet it's the truth because you're super honest, right?
I'm a super honest
This
guy
guy,
for
yeah.
those who knows.
Yeah.
I'm shaking in my boots. Hold on.
Alright, you guys ready?
You ready? Let's do it.
Okay, so this happened a few years back while I was living in Groningen. So I borrowed Ricao's bike. I don't know if you remember this, Ricao, but it was I had to borrow your bike to go to Albert Heijn to buy groceries, right? So on my way, it was raining, like it always does in the Netherlands, and on my way to the store, I kind of fell because the road was totally slippery, and so I flew from the bike. I fell down, and this was the next thing that happened. So I remember old lady crossing the street to come see if I'm okay. While that was happening, my bike, your bike actually, was thrown on the ground, right? While that lady was checking up on me, a guy just picked up the bike and ran away with it. So I was like, and you might remember this, but it's time to decide if it's true or false.
So
Ricao,
it was-
quick question. Do you
I don't
not
have
You don't
bikes.
have to. You don't. Did you ever have a bike?
Yeah.
Yeah. And did you? Was it true that you lost it at one point, or Patrick lost it, to be exact?
Daddy borrowed the bike seems believable.
Right.
I'll give him on that. But
I kind of knew you wouldn't remember this.
because
yeah.
I have the worst memory ever, man.
I know that's why. That's why
You're using
came-
that.
Apparently.
You're using that.
That's why I told the story, because it's. I want to see, if you guys
I
get this right.
I heard this story, but I think it has a
Exaggeration.
small lie into it.
Okay.
Small
Yeah,
lie.
I think it's false.
If I can go a bit deeper, I think they stole the grocery and not the
Alright.
bike.
So
Or do
you
you
think
not
I
even
fell
remember?
from the bike while the lady was checking up on me?
I mean,
Someone
picked
picked
the
up my groceries, ran away with it.
with the bike.
With the
I'm
bike.
joking.
That's even worse.
I
I
Damn
don't
it.
think someone would help you out.
No, exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
no. The old lady did help him.
Yeah, she saw.
But
So she
if-
saw
if-
how I flew from the bike.
Okay.
She crossed the street and she was like, "Are
How-
you okay?"
How old, give or take, was she?
Probably around 60, I would say. Because
no,
it was
they
really.
wouldn't help you.
White hair? Did you have
No,
white
no,
hair?
no.
No,
They-
but
No.
she seemed like.
Him, yeah.
Yeah, true.
What?
He was a skinny ginger fella, right? So,
What do you mean was?
I mean, okay, yeah.
Good
I was
point,
trying
good
to
point.
be kind.
All right, but true or false, guys? What do you
False
say?
for me. False for me.
False for me as
Convince
well.
me.
I'm going true.
True.
False
You
this time.
changed your mind?
I changed my mind last minute.
All right, so we have 3 truth and
And
1
No.
false.
No, you're switching.
One truth.
Wait.
All
All
false.
right, if you guys insist.
Okay.
All right, so basically, yeah, it had a small lie in it.
Oh,
Mhm.
So
I was
it's
right.
false. Yeah, you were right.
but
So
I was wrong
the-
as well.
No one picked up the bike and ran away with it. But
Oh.
I basically fell. Someone helped me.
Was
check
it
on
an
me.
old lady?
Yeah, it was an old lady. She was very kind, checking up on me.
Nice.
But I was fine. I was very surprised because I flew like Superman from
Yeah,
that.
from the bike.
Yeah.
She still
That
checks
happened.
up on you.
Occasionally
still
she comes
worried.
by.
It's like, how are you doing, son?
Yeah. Still falling from bikes
My
nowadays.
child, my child.
Is everything okay, my son?
So yeah,
Sí,
that was my
todo
story,
bien.
guys.
For some reason, the answer's in Spanish. All right, guys, that was story time.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the
I'm
next
really
thing,
sorry, by
which
the way.
is a mumbling segment.
The next
Cool.
segment is
The industry.
The
industry.
Yay.
We do the same thing for each one. Is
yeah.
that happening? Hey.
It's the industry. Hey guys, on to the next segment. This
The
is
industry.
La industria.
Let's do
La
that.
industria.
Let's do that. La industria.
La industria. Hey. But yeah, so what are we talking about this
Oh
week,
yeah.
fellas?
So okay. So this week, it's my turn to bring the topic or the questions or whatever.
All right.
So it's about the film industry, and let's see if I have the question here. Let's dive deep into it.
Yes, let's do it.
Do a little bit.
Ready? Y'all ready for this?
Ready. Set.
Go. Here's my first question. What classifies as a good film for you guys?
All right. That's a good question.
From
Mhm.
a point of a consumer, like us as a consumer, or of us as kind of like critical about things.
You as an individual, each and every one of you.
I think it really depends on a lot of factors, and
Mhm.
also on the person, as you said, on different as a consumer, because some people look at the let's say film work, so the actual visuals, effects, blah blah blah, and then others would enjoy acting or the storyline. There's a lot of factors to look into a movie that you can judge and
Mhm.
decide if it's a good movie.
Well, what is it for you?
For me, it's all about the story, and I also love like the acting. So if the acting is good, for me, that's already a plus.
Right.
Yeah.
So and the story.
Yeah.
It can be a movie that barely anything happens. I
Mhm.
can still watch it and enjoy it if the story is.
That's different for me then, because I mean, obviously, if barely anything happens, but it still has a hook, I can still be interested in watching it. That kind of keeps me and reels me in. But yeah, for me, it really has to have something going on in the beginning. Within the first 15 minutes, I need to be able to say like, okay, I'm following whatever's happening in this movie, and I want to know what happens in the end. Even if a movie is like shit or whatever, I'll sit through it so that I know that it was entirely shit.
Yeah.
Or if
you
it
gotta
was
make
just,
sure.
Yeah.
As long as it has something intriguing in the first 15 minutes, you're hooked.
Yeah.
You're watching it. Even if
Hopefully.
even if it's a little bad,
Yeah.
at least you have like that closure.
Exactly.
To watch the whole thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, for me, it's basically, first of all, the story is the most important.
Mm-hmm.
After it, it's how they communicate the story for you. So, the static of the film, but everything else, the audio, shots, everything else. But it needs to be in a way that it doesn't take you out of the story.
Right.
So, nothing too extra to pull you basically out of the story. If they take me out of the story, I cannot get back into it. So
So really
I
like
wouldn't-
has to
yeah.
be immersed you and
Yeah.
pull into it.
Yeah.
For me, the music is also very important, integral part.
Oh,
Ooh,
definitely.
true.
For instance, Hans Zimmer, I'm a big fan of
Ooh,
all his
nice.
stuff.
Yeah.
But if it's a good example is Suicide Squad. If you have a movie that just puts a lot of pop songs in it,
Right.
it feels just like a lot of music videos behind
cheap.
each other.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
really cheap.
It's really
Extremely
cheap for a movie, in all honesty. and you feel like they're just trying to paste in areas that are just no real content
Mm.
with music, like pop
Yeah.
music.
Yeah,
And you're just
yeah.
like, eh.
If it's all
Mm,
pop
point.
music in the movie, it's like they're just trying to tailor it to the audience
Yeah.
of that time.
Yeah.
So it's not trying to make something that's timeless or that stands out, in a couple of years or however many years after. It's just like, okay, we want to make something that sells right now,
And
make the
just
money,
that,
and just
yeah.
that. Like,
Mm. Ooh,
that kinda sucks.
question. Because I had a few talks with a few, I had very mixed response. What did you guys think of the Joker?
Of which one? Or the
new one.
movie?
The
last
Like
The
one.
standalone one. Yes, yes.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was very impressed by it.
Yeah.
That was, I think that movie is a good example of like it had its value because the story and the acting was
Mhm.
so
Did not
great.
see it.
Fantastic.
You didn't
You
see
didn't
it?
see
Oh,
it,
yeah,
no.
that's right. You haven't
Yeah.
watched it
Well,
yet.
let me spoil it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Drop some spoilers.
No, I'm
No,
not
but
gonna.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
too fresh.
just in general, the acting. I mean,
Yeah, it goes really deep into like the psyche of someone that's mentally insane, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's someone that's
Mm.
not, and that was really like for Joaquin Phoenix to go. Did you see how I said that name?
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin.
Yeah, for Joaquin Phoenix to go that deep into like that character, man, that takes a lot of
Yeah, the dedication.
cojones.
I mean when
Cojones.
cojones.
when you have
Ese Joaquin Phoenix tiene mucho
didn't even catch that one,
cojones.
right?
Yes, I love it.
Joaquin
Sí, tiene cojones.
Oh, sorry, what did you want to say? We're totally lost.
oh yeah, no. I was gonna say like that's a good example of like a good actor can really keep you into the movie.
immersed
Like
in
yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you kind of forget that it's like a person doing it. It's
Yeah.
just like,
Oh man,
whoa,
It
this
feels
is mad.
real when you see it.
Yeah, yeah.
And he carries almost the entire movie by himself.
Yeah.
It's he's in pretty much every single scene. It's he's never not in it.
Mhm.
did
so
we?
that's what.
I think we saw the movie in the cinema here, right? In Leeuwarden.
Oh yeah, with you guys.
Oh yeah, true. We
Yeah.
saw it together. Yeah,
Yeah, and then I saw it. I think like a week and a half later. Again,
Same.
in the
I saw
movie
it
theater,
again. Yeah,
with my sister and her husband. So
Mm.
yeah,
it's a really good movie.
Nice.
Didn't see it.
Have to watch. Put it on your list.
Yep,
For-
definitely.
Okay,
What's
first
up?
of all, don't tell me what to do.
put it
Second
on
of
the
all,
list.
I will.
Do you guys?
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Do you guys before watching a movie decide what if you're gonna watch it or not based on reviews?
No.
Oh man.
I never
do
look
you
at
ignore?
reviews.
Nope.
man.
I try to avoid them.
Yeah.
Actually, even
And-
trailers. I don't watch trailers.
I don't watch
Yeah.
trailers anymore. I don't do it.
Okay, I
Yep.
don't search for a trailer before I go watch a movie. If I
Mhm.
just read titles, but if I've seen the trailer on Facebook or wherever, it just pops up as an ad, and I see it, and I'm like, okay, that looks cool.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Mm.
I don't necessarily search for trailers, but reviews, never looked a movie up for reviews because I feel like it's just crybabies, man.
Yeah.
Like seriously,
Definitely.
just enjoy a film and then be like, okay, yeah, it wasn't that great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're
Right.
just like reviewing it, and it's just because it's not their taste.
Yeah.
And a lot of
Mhm.
people haven't seen movies just because of some other person's taste. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. Don't you think that's like a big problem nowadays? That just, I don't know, people have this already, this critical lens before they even watch it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then they're watching it and it's just like, you're just,
Oh, this isn't good.
oh, that's not realistic. Oh, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. And that's not really,
You
what
go
I-
into it having a bias already before you even
Yeah,
watch
exactly.
the
yeah,
movie.
yeah. And that's not why I watch movie. I want
Mhm.
I want to escape fully from life. It's
Right.
just,
And it's not only
Stories.
with movies. Like I feel like nowadays reviews and because when you read about a review, like
Mhm.
let's say for food,
Right.
you kind of trust someone else,
Yeah.
a consumer,
Right.
instead of the actual,
Yeah.
advertising.
Mhm.
Of
Mm.
the
That's a
so
good opinion, but we're talking about movies.
yeah, no, but
Keep it
for,
to movies.
I mean, you can apply it with everything, right?
Yeah.
With movies as well. If you
Yeah.
Put a
Kinda
trust in
bit-
someone.
yeah. you're like,
Trust.
I trust
I
you.
trusted
Trust
you,
no one.
and I failed you. Like, wait, that's not the line.
Is that the line? It was a shit
You
movie.
trusted me.
But you know what? There are some reviews or reviewers that are actually pretty that I go to that are pretty good. Here's the thing, like sometimes so I normally avoid watching trailers,
Mhm.
but I see a movie that maybe I wanna see it. At that moment, since I don't wanna get spoiled in any way, I might go and read a review
Mhm.
from someone that I trust, or that I like their opinion, and then based on their review, I might actually go watch it.
You know what I
Okay.
do now? I follow Instagram pages that do like not reviews, but they explain the story a bit,
Mhm.
Yeah.
like film enthusiast.
Oh yeah,
That's
Definitely.
not their name completely, but you get. It's
yeah, that's like the group.
yeah, one of those. So
Mhm.
Ooh,
there's
I also
difference.
I always love checking the philosophy of the certain movies.
Yep.
For instance, a Fight Club. Okay, let me check the philosophy of Fight Club, and then they go deep into
Deep
the
into it.
story.
Yeah.
You
Awesome
guys,
stuff.
you guys always also do that. Like after you watch a movie, and you like it so much, you start let's see what other like analysis people have on it. Like, is there
If-
something like an
If
Easter
it's on
egg?
if
that
it's
I
on the
missed?
plot, that if I have my own theory about what happened, it's
Mm.
nice to see what other people think about it as well. I think it really depends on the movie, though. If it's that much of a key factor to find out what is going on behind what they showed for the story in the movie itself, they're just leaving question marks all over the place.
Yep.
Mhm.
It's fun to read the
Yeah.
theories.
Yeah, because then it's more-
Interpretations and
Yeah.
fucking
Mm,
Yeah.
Easter eggs and all these small
Yeah,
little
man.
things that directors just
yeah.
leave out.
I love that
Yeah.
thing. I
Yeah.
love it when films have this underneath layer. So you have that top layer where you watch it, you get the story, you understand, but there's like this hidden layer at the bottom where it's
Mhm.
saying something else, and you
Mhm.
might
Yeah.
you might feel it, or you might you kind of get a hint of
Yeah,
what's there, but you don't completely
You
understand.
You
it.
want to make
Hey,
sure. You
yeah.
wanna-
It's
or
the
you wanna-
feeling. I think it's the feeling that Uncut Gem gave us. That
yeah,
super anxious and we didn't know why.
exactly.
And I went to the same Instagram pages
Mhm.
and they explain it's because of the cuts and the music they chose
Yeah.
extra loud, so
Mhm.
you were never completely calm.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That
Mhm.
and that's
How,
that was a good one actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
how did you guys experience that with movies when you watch them maybe 2 or 3 to 4 times, and every time you watch it you see something else?
Oh yeah.
Love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that as well. 'cause
Rewatchability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you notice details. You're like, oh,
Mhm.
so that's
Kinda
why. Our
some-
song-
Some
yeah.
some movies I feel, if you want to truly understand them,
Mm.
you gotta watch them
couple
at
of
least. Like twice.
Titanic, right?
Yeah.
Titanic.
I've
yeah.
watched Titanic
Possibly.
up.
First, I
It
didn't
could
know
be a
what it
whole-
hit.
Yeah.
You know-
Second time.
Second time, I was like, oh, it's ice.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the third time, I was like, okay, maybe there wasn't enough.
I thought
space
it was
around.
a Transformer movie that changed a ship into a submarine.
Yeah.
But
Oh, that's gonna be
I
the
was wrong.
remake.
Yeah, yeah.
Michael
Yeah.
Bay.
Yeah.
Mike, imagine if you make Titanic.
Oh god.
You're
Like it hits the iceberg.
The Decepticons.
they're attacking. You hear?
But yo-
My back.
I have that with I've mentioned this a while back, but with The Matrix, that's one of those
Love that
movies
movie,
that
yeah.
the more I grow up, the
Yeah.
more I understand it, the more I
Oh,
relate
yeah.
to it. That's
Yeah.
also interesting.
When's
I
the last
remember-
time that you've seen it?
Last year.
And how did you feel about that? Still
Dude,
something different?
Oh man.
Every time.
It's
You know what's something
that
with
hit
the
personally
Matrix?
more, yeah.
Every time, so I watch it, I'm like, oh yeah, now I kind of remember what it's about. I watch it again, oh shit, yeah, it's actually about more things. So, but then I don't watch it for a while. I forget what it's about, like the details. Watch it again, so I like being reminded of every time I watch it. It's like this pleasant surprise.
And
Mhm.
with movies,
Do you watch the Matrix completely or just? Do you watch one or there are multiple, right? So do you watch the,
the whole
whole?
trilogy.
Yeah,
Trilogy.
sometimes I watch the trilogy. Most of the times I just watch the first one. That for
The
me is
first
like a
one.
masterpiece. You know,
Yeah.
that's the best one. But
Mm.
they're all fun. Did you guys hear they're making they're
No,
making a new one?
Yeah.
It's coming out, I think.
It's coming out on
2022.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
They're making a new Matrix.
Yeah.
Is
And
it
it-
with the same?
Keanu's
Keanu's,
in it.
Keanu's in it.
Yeah.
and
I
it's
think
the
everyone
release
else
date is
in
on the same day as John Wick 4.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Because
yeah, that's the meme,
They were
right?
like,
Dude,
yeah,
yep.
they were like, man, this guy's just competing with himself in
Yeah.
the box
At
office.
this
Yeah.
point, that's crazy. How do you decide?
You know,
Yeah.
I
Watch
wanted to
both.
say like
the same day.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
we should. We should.
Uh,
It would be
Well,
interesting.
what's-
it was an invitation.
I auto invited
Yeah,
myself. That's
please
what
don't.
I do.
You
I
wanna
show
say
up
that.
anyway. Oh yeah, I wanted to say like what you mentioned earlier. So with movies, I feel like the more you grow up,
Yeah.
the more you understand
Yeah.
some movies, and it also
That's what Ricao said. right?
Ricao
Yeah,
said
that's
that.
what he said.
you said that.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Okay.
This happens very frequently, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. I sometimes zone out. You know. So.
Sometimes.
Yeah, something.
Well,
Deja vu. Wait.
But yeah.
You
so
know what
yeah,
just
the-
happened? That was a glitch.
Yeah.
That was
Glitch
a
in the
glitch.
Matrix.
That was like the
It's
guy
like there's two Patricks in one
simulating
room.
this scenario. Like,
Right.
you
What's
guys start
happening?
talking about Matrix. Bloops. Loop.
It happened when I turned the sign on for the light.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why
That,
you
that
pushed
was the
the.
trigger point. Yeah.
Oh, I
Oh
understand.
man, but you got sometimes the opposite. I'm sorry for that random switch, by the
Oh,
way.
don't worry.
Sometimes you have the opposite. For instance, Lord of the Rings. I tried to watch it again.
Yeah.
I still don't like it. I
Mm.
still don't get
Mm.
it.
Yeah,
I
Lord of the
don't-
Rings never quite did it for me either. It's
Are you guys
Just
fans
walking.
of Harry Potter movies?
Yeah.
yeah. I'm actually a fan
Somewhat.
of the Harry
Yeah.
Potter
Yep.
movies. Yeah.
Didn't do it for me either. The
Huh.
Hobbit series, nope.
Why Harry Potter though? That's interesting.
I don't know, man. It's not my type of movies. Like,
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
you, because since you didn't like The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings either, it's kind of
Yeah.
like maybe you don't like fantasy.
Fantasy,
movies.
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
TV
to
But-
a
or something.
degree, I
like that.
guess.
But he likes Fast and Furious, the
yeah.
airplane, right?
The airplane.
Airplane.
You know,
the
Not even the
car-
cars, the airplane.
You know what's funny?
No, but you know what scene
scene?
You know what scene I meant,
Yeah,
right?
you
With
know what's
the
funny? Every
long-
time I would
Mm.
say I don't like Harry Potter movies or Lord of the Rings or everything, everyone jumps on my back with Fast and Furious. I'm like, can't you just fucking take a fucking opinion?
I mean,
No, not with you, but
I mean,
other
Totally
people.
get it.
I
Yeah.
can and I
Yeah.
will not
They're
be.
instantly like, oh, you think that's real? Like, bruh. It's not about what's real. It's
a
about
movie.
what I
Just
like.
Yeah, it's
It's
just
a
your taste.
movie.
It's totally understandable.
Yeah.
Right?
And I'm like, why the fuck are we trying to compare those movies? Like,
Because one
What?
is cars and one is magic. And I will forever pick magic above car.
You believe
Yo,
in magic?
you want 5 fucking movies? Oh shit! My apologies. 5 movies of just guy walking around with a stick killing people, or fucking cars, man.
Hey, but he doesn't
Gosh,
kill
bro.
them, man.
He doesn't.
Sorry,
He
okay,
doesn't
that's
kill.
true.
He uses it for
Okay.
good,
That's a-
man.
Yeah.
That's the whole match.
for a
That's
good
the
cause.
whole-
I
the
have to
message.
Sending out.
think,
I'm sending out.
By the way, I have to say, I also love Fast and Furious movies.
mm,
Not the
No.
last
Yeah.
couple of, because
What is the last
Ooh.
couple for you? The last seven of
after the
them?
first one.
After the first, so you
Yo.
I mean,
like the
I-
first one,
I actually loved when they were racing,
right?
and
mhm.
not when they become
Not saving
like,
the world
yeah,
with,
yeah, yeah.
with cars somehow.
Like,
I
what
lost
the
my
fuck?
son. Oh no!
You know which one was really
that's-
John
fun?
Cena is my brother.
That's a direct quote dialogue from the movie. I lost my son. Oh,
Oh, John Cena.
We need the cars.
yeah.
It's
Did
about
you-
family.
It's fine. It's ridiculous.
It all-
it's
it-
ridiculous.
It's always,
Always
about,
about family.
family.
It's
There are
family.
like 2 people in that family. You know, you
Yeah.
can just say it's about you.
Uh,
It's about family.
It's about
No, it's about you, my girlfriend. You know.
Yeah.
It went from just Jack and trucks that had DVD players, microwaves, very expensive Panasonic electronics
Mhm.
from back in 2001.
Those were big
And
movies.
fly.
then it went
Flying
on
cars.
to maybe helping with some drug busts or whatnot,
yeah.
to eventually just drifting, which was a whole different scene with the
That was awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
with
personal
the,
opinion.
Yeah.
the gangs and everything. I was
Mhm.
like, yo, it's still dope.
Mhm.
And then they just went all on this family.
Oh, we gotta
And
save
then
the
running
world.
from, like,
I lost my memories. Oh.
We're gonna find you, and we're gonna.
I think
kill
we
you.
just quoted a line from every single.
That was it.
We
A
just,
summary of
uh,
Fast and Furious.
Yeah, we just
And
spoiled
guys,
the
we're-
entire
movies are-
franchise.
We're like shitting on the movies, but I like them.
I love
I'm
Joe.
like, I think that's the beauty of it as well. That I can just, I don't know.
But there's something about these universes now that you just keep coming back.
right.
With Marvel, I just keep coming back.
Yeah.
No matter how much, it's just like, yeah,
But
I
I feel like with those movies, like Marvel, for example, it's guaranteed a certain degree of entertainment. You know,
Mhm.
because of the budget,
Yeah.
because of, I mean,
They know the
you-
formula. They know how to tell
Exactly.
the story so that you enjoy it.
exactly. So
Yeah.
it's like one of those typical Hollywood movies
Mhm.
that you know it's gonna be entertaining.
Typical Hollywood movie.
Oh my
Oh
god!
gosh.
But yeah,
We're
so
homophobic.
Marvel is a good example of that. You always No, if you had to decide what
Yeah,
you
you know
want.
you're gonna
Yeah.
have some fun, at least some fun.
But,
Somewhat,
yeah,
yeah.
With the Marvel movies, I get entertained, but I don't think they're good movies.
Right.
Yeah, so actually, I
But-
don't usually go to a cinema and watch a Marvel movie.
You don't look forward
just
to
wait
for
the
it.
next.
It's not my
You see it as
yeah,
entertainment. in
Yeah,
some
yeah,
way.
it's like
If someone's watching it,
Yeah.
you're there.
Yeah.
You'll watch it too.
I'll go with a couple of friends maybe
Right.
because it's a social thing, but I
Mhm.
would not go to just like me and enjoy the movie.
Yeah, I think
It's
I'm the
not-
same.
It's not my thing.
Yeah,
Mm.
the problem with those movies are it's so predictable, right? For me, no matter what they do with the story, it's always gonna be the same formula.
Right.
So for me, it's like okay, I only watch this, of course, because of the action. You know, you know you're
Yeah.
gonna see some.
But that's
really,
really the blockbuster category.
It
of
is,
movie.
it is.
It is the
In
new
general, it's
blockbuster.
predictable.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
if it goes
Mhm.
from Marvel to maybe a romantic comedy, you're like, oh, they don't like each other, and then
By the way,
oh, it's
cool.
not-
Yeah.
I
That's,
still loved how they killed Iron Man or he suicided, saved the
Spoiler.
world, whatever.
Whoa. Wait.
Whatever you want to say,
Yeah.
that scene was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For the
Very
build up,
emotional.
for a 10-year build up to get that, it's like wow. Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
But
Yeah,
I
the
actually loved the scene where they, I don't like to say teleporter, but I have no
yeah, they
other
all
word.
showed up.
Showed
Mhm.
up. Yeah,
And
that
then-
was awesome.
Captain America was like,
Assemble.
Yeah.
assemble.
We have an inside joke with Patrick here because I think he quoted the movie once, like
Yeah.
this specific scene.
yeah. Oh yeah. We were talking about like 2020, and we assembled
We
to this
assembled.
podcast.
Yeah.
But I said it in
In
like
a
a
very,
very
monotone.
exactly
Yeah.
like, assemble.
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 Yeah.
Assembly.
And basically, the whole joke was that Patrick would be Captain America in this sense, and he would say that, and nobody would assemble and start to fight Thanos.
Sorry, it's the first time I hear this joke.
Oh.
That's gold.
Patrick is standing there in the middle of the
Guys,
action,
shh, leave him alone. Let him
Assemble.
let him fight
and then it's like
Thanos.
assemble, and then nobody's like
Nobody
yeah,
does
what?
anything.
And then Captain America, Steve
No one?
Rogers, Steve Rogers said it like nobody can actually hear it, like assemble, and everyone's like, like we're running.
We're here.
Oh, man.
So yeah.
Hey,
that
but
was
if you're Captain America, right? Who are we then?
Please
Which
don't.
superheroes are?
Please
alright.
don't say I'm Nick Fury. I know it's funny, but
Oh.
tip that.
I would
You're the
say-
Black Panther.
That was just, huh?
The
Black
Black
Panther.
Panther.
Yes, cool, man. Thank you, Black Panther. You changed my costume
I'd
parties.
say Jeremy is
Yes.
Iron Man. We have obviously Spider-Man over here,
Obviously.
and then you're the guy with the from X-Men.
Which one?
He
bald
died.
guy?
He died.
Xavier?
No. Is he from the X-Men? The one he was very strong.
Why
but
is
he was-
everyone in Avengers and then he's the
I'm
only
like,
one?
I'm like,
because he
oh,
was actually.
I'm not
in
even a
the-
part of
mean-
the Avengers.
Yeah.
Yet, I'm sorry.
We go to the gym with him, right? We know he's Hulk.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
obviously,
he's way
obviously.
Green.
He's super strong. He's the strongest one
How
here.
did I just skip Hulk right there?
Yeah.
I was thinking.
Because
You're
you're,
thinking
Man,
far.
for some
because
reason.
you're a weak ass
You're a-
Captain America.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, man.
Assemble.
Assembly.
Leader. Assemble.
But yeah, that was
Hey, while we're on Marvel movie, that's a perfect transition for me for the next question, which is with the new technology that's coming out and the movies that we're able to make now, do you think movies compared to those from the past nowadays, are they better or worse or the same?
depends how you see it. Like okay, tongue twist right there.
'Cause-
Okay.
Mm.
So
Do you
if you
wanna go?
look, yeah, if you look at it at a perspective of, for example, film, like the effects you can do now and the techniques, let's say, it's totally different. It's renewed, let's say, the updated version. So back then they used, classic camera techniques and
yep.
stuff. So if
True.
that's only one
Yeah,
example,
yeah,
right?
yeah. And it's like obviously, you have movies that made good use of technology,
Right.
but you also have a lot of movies that run on technology.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not even implementing or trying to invest in the story, but they're just like, no, if we do all these effects and
Then
all
it'll be
this,
an awesome
yeah,
fucking
like
movie.
nah, it's
it-
like
They overdo it.
Yeah. Yeah, then it's more of the special effects instead of the storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I didn't watch it yet, but I'm thinking of the Lion King example.
Right.
That a lot they're making live action just because they can,
yeah,
Exactly.
but it was already creative. Wait, your
Right.
face looks like you want to say
Oh
something.
man.
No.
Something.
He's
I
like
agree.
heavily against you. Right? He's like, you're wrong.
Trigger.
Did you see it? Did you see it or not?
I didn't see it.
I saw it on the
Okay.
plane.
Same.
Yeah.
It's entertaining.
Yeah, but it has less emotion
Yeah.
compared to the original.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that
And I'm
I
like-
find
But by the way,
disappointing.
it has one scene that has too much emotion,
Which one?
where he dies.
Pikachu. No.
Mufasa.
Oh, the Mufa.
Yeah.
I even thought that was a little bit like toned down for some reason.
I mean,
'Cause, dude,
they better tone it down, cause
No, but
Simba.
yeah.
you remember that scene where his a lock of fur just flies through the whole desert and all
Oh
that.
yeah.
And then Rafiki is his name.
I think so.
He
Sounds
gets
about
it
right.
and he's like Simba, like in the original he's so excited and all this and
Who
he
did
yells
this?
out. And then in the remake it was like, oh, it's Simba.
Okay. True. You already know.
Obviously he didn't do that.
Yeah.
He didn't do it like that toned down, but I felt like there was the musical power behind it
Yeah.
was a lot toned down in my
Really?
opinion.
I mean, I just like the scene itself, like how he struggled to go up,
Yeah.
and the last type of when he died, it had a graphic feel
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
So
Right.
where the cartoon didn't.
Yeah, I guess that's exactly a movie where we have the technology.
Let's do it.
Let's just remake it. Like it's
No.
not.
There
There's nothing
Yeah.
new. With,
Like
Yeah,
King
just
Kong,
with the
for
story.
example.
But there was
Right.
a thing that went around, right? That Walt Disney stated that all the original movies
are gonna get remade.
remade after
Yeah.
10 years or
I
something.
think so.
Or 20, I don't remember.
I don't
Because he
know.
wants every generation to enjoy them new.
Right.
Cool.
Like not to watch the old ones, but they get to experience their own.
Hmm.
And I'm wondering if it's true. I don't
Hmm.
know if it's true. I didn't fact check it, but
Oh,
it sounds
so-
like it makes sense because they've done so many now that you're like,
Mhm.
okay, why?
Mhm.
Like just leave the gem untouched. You know?
yeah. But I
Do you
I
think?
don't like. Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, it seems like you had something important to say.
Pokemon.
Yes. Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
no. Those are good. So they made. You remember that Pokemon 2000 movie?
Right.
Yeah.
The
Great
very
movie.
emotional. Exactly. You
Dope.
already
Super
that
emotional,
emotional
yeah.
impact. They 3D'd it.
Aw.
Exactly. That reaction. That just like
When did
your
that come out?
childhood and making it. I saw it like last week on Netflix. All of a sudden.
Holy
Oh,
crap!
man.
Wait.
Check it out.
And the fact that it kind of they're taking something old, but it lacks this emotional impact
Yeah.
and imagination is just it just looks bad,
Yeah.
man.
And
Right.
you would say, like, no,
Yeah.
maybe you're too old for it. No, rewatch the original and you're like, whoa.
Oh, man.
Amazing,
Yeah.
incredible.
But you
Exactly.
guys-
Wait, did you guys watch Pikachu though?
No. I
Detective
didn't-
Pikachu?
Yeah.
No.
That was funny.
Yeah.
That was really
Hmm.
funny.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
liked
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Didn't watch
That
it.
was original.
Yeah.
I think that's like you take a franchise,
And
Uh,
make
you
it
do something,
kind of a
different.
spin-off, right? So-
Spin-off, yeah. I liked it. That was nice. Yeah, technology. I mean, if you use it, it's like you said. If you use it to advance the way you want to tell a story, cool. Because sometimes, yeah, in the past, I think if they had the chance or if they could, they would use it to their
Yeah.
advantage. But
Yeah.
since they couldn't, they had to find a way to kind of cheat, kind of do
Yeah.
camera tricks and stuff like that.
Which
to
is
get what
some-
impressive.
yeah.
Some genres really take advantage of the technology nowadays.
Mhm.
For example, action movies.
Action movies, yeah.
But then if you think back, like horror movies or
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
it's the same principle.
Yeah.
You just wanna horrify the audience.
Now, you know what's the thing? I think with horror movies, it actually works better without all the technology.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
That build
Yeah.
up, that
Based on the original writing of suspense.
Yeah.
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 It's all about sounds and
Mhm.
the story. What
And directing.
yeah.
Like
But you
how
know
it's-
why? Because I think it's more real.
Yeah.
Because we
Also.
can
Relate
you-
to it. You're
yeah,
like,
you
oh,
re-
I remember this creepy
exactly.
situation.
We were all that kid that looked under the bed and was afraid of the dark at one point and fucking had a monster that suddenly killed your parents and
You know, the usual.
the usual.
The usual.
Seeing
Not to
that
brag,
blue
but-
Japanese guy next to your bed.
Yeah.
It's like, ah,
It's like
shit.
we all
enough.
went through that.
A
Watched-
blue Japanese guy.
Yeah, dude. After watching The Grudge, I literally hallucinated this fucking.
Dude,
Okay.
No,
that is intense. That
you have
is
no
intense.
idea,
No
man.
joke.
Yo.
That was my, I would say, my biggest scare of all time.
Which one?
I saw
Mm.
I saw the
The blue
Japanese
Japanese guy?
Yeah. It's a long
was
story.
he in your room as well?
I saw
Same
like
dude, man.
I saw his face right
In front of you?
no, yeah,
Next
kind
to
of,
you?
but he was next to my sister, which, by the way,
Oh,
I
in
told you
rumor,
this.
yeah.
Shout out, by the way.
Hey, Lucy, shout out. So
The
she stood up, but she wasn't speaking. I think she was just sleepwalking, but just sitting there.
Right.
Wasn't talking, and me and my other sister, we were just chatting, and I remember just trying to see what's up with my sister, and I saw this guy like with the flash
Oh.
right, yeah,
Mm.
right, in the
Dude.
back.
That's why you never use flash
yeah.
Mm.
ever in the dark.
Because
seriously.
it's your brain that
You can believe anything or not, but don't
Yeah.
provoke
it's like
your imagination.
exactly like using the flash in a super dark room. It's like
Yeah, you're
a
asking for
typical,
trouble, dude.
yeah,
You're
it's
asking
a
for trouble.
typical cinematic moment.
Right.
You know, something
Something's
pops up,
gonna
yeah,
pop
yeah,
up,
yeah.
yeah.
If I
Or
were,
you see a face just
Yeah.
Yeah.
if I were a demon,
Two red eyes.
I'm not.
uh,
but if I were a demon, I would do that. I'd wait for the flash moments.
oh, definitely.
But I'll,
Oh, but-
I'll let a little bit of
give me
myself show in the
chance.
picture. Because people have to debate over it, you know?
But that's why we get scared because we're always putting ourselves in the monster's perspective. It's like I would do that if that's how I would fuck myself over. And then you're like, oh fuck, is it gonna happen?
yeah, someone is
Yeah.
gonna do this with
Yeah.
to me.
Reminds me of the is that the blue guy over there?
Hey. We're busy.
Yeah. Come on, we're trying to film a podcast. Jeez. Give some respect.
Later, ghost, please. Come on.
This whole
Lucy's-
podcast
Wait,
does
wait.
not air because we were all killed
Yeah.
by the blue
At the end, it
Japanese.
just
I
goes
see-
like,
oh man. Oh.
Do you see it?
I see some. Oh, shit.
Ah,
The blue Japanese guy.
oh, man.
I feel like we should Google his name.
Yeah.
'cause
No,
Japanese
no,
guy.
no,
Don't do
no,
it,
no,
don't
no, no. But
Samara.
I was trying to summon.
the blue Japanese.
No,
This is our casual talks, by the way.
I was trying
Some
to
tribes
summon my inner the Family Guy Mexican female.
Oh.
No, no.
Rosa
no,
or-
no.
Ro
Ay, clean.
Cazuela.
Consuela.
Consuela. I know.
Cazuela.
Cazuela.
No, no.
No,
No.
Rosalia?
Rosalia.
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 Rosalia?
Stallion.
Rosalia.
Blue
Rosalia.
Japanese guy not here.
Oh, no blue Japanese.
Oh, blue
guy
Japanese
here.
But hey, I'm gonna break this flow of
Yeah.
real good comedy
Right.
to ask you a question.
Sure.
Which is your favorite old style movie? So black and white.
You.
You.
Oh man, that's a tough one. Yeah. God damn. Which one's my favorite? Actually, I do have I have mentioned it to you guys before. It is a movie by Woody Allen called Manhattan.
Okay.
I've watched it a lot of times repeatedly.
Mm.
And it's basically this love story and that takes place in New York. But the way it was captured with black and white, it really takes advantage of the aesthetics, and they know what color to wear to make it pop and contrasty. So I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Another black and white movie that's not from the past, it's fairly recent, that's really good, is I think it's called Ida. Ida.
No idea.
It sounds familiar, but I'm
Yeah.
not entirely sure now.
By the way, did any of you see Casablanca?
No.
I
No,
didn't
haven't
know.
watched it.
Oh, Me neither.
Mm-mm.
So
I-
that was it. Let's
What's
move
the
forward.
build-up?
I wanted
I have no idea. It's
I wanted
I've
to
heard
jump
it's
on,
good.
Like storytelling with, maybe some effects, but not that much. There was last year they released a French Canadian zombie movie,
Mhm.
Rivos.
Rivals.
I don't know how it's pronounced, but
Rivals.
I remember it just randomly popped in my head because, dude, there are tons of zombie movies out there.
Yeah.
But this movie, first of all, it's not even in English, and I was like, yeah, I'll just watch it with subtitles. Didn't need the subtitles because I was like, it was so immersive,
Whoa.
and it's the whole movie is based on silence. So
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
the whole suspense is
Mhm.
there without them actually really talking that often.
Oh.
So I was like, yo, this is good. I was like legit like, when you feel scared for the scene, and
Right.
I felt that. For a zombie movie, that doesn't happen often, to be honest. And I
Nice.
was
You
like,
know
this is
which
good.
other zombie movie is super great? The one on Disney Channel.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, Zim.
Invader Zim? It's
Invader.
Nickelodeon.
He's not a zombie, right?
No,
Zombie?
it's
I
not.
don't know.
That's
I'm
Nickelodeon.
questioning it right
Yeah.
now.
Oh god.
Zim.
There's
I
a
love-
zombie
I
on
love
Disney
Which
Channel.
Zimba.
I have no idea. It's a zombie movie. It's new, so
Oh, I don't know.
it's zombies going to high school or some shit like that.
Oh, that
Oh,
sounds
wow.
scary.
Of course.
Yeah. It's
So-
super scary. They're super social.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
should. You
Zombies
guys
and
should
shit,
check it out though. The movie's on Netflix. If I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
mistaken.
the one on
Rivers.
Disney Channel. It's
Rivers.
super great.
What's
Okay.
it called?
I'm joking.
I love
Back-
Disney Channel.
Back
I
in
mean
school,
too,
you
man.
used to do like pranks.
You
Like
used to
these
do
are
pranks.
ju- Yeah. This is just like zombies going from the back, just eating
Like,
your.
hi, I
Yeah,
got
this
you.
is a
I got
prank.
you.
Ah.
Human boy.
Should we move on to the next thing?
Yeah.
Yes, feel like
sir.
it?
Sir.
Let's do it.
Please, please,
Good
please,
talk.
please.
Good. Thank you.
I
for
mean,
that.
again, we'll be talking a lot more about
Yeah.
every individual
Yeah.
industry as we go. If you want to know something specifically about, or want us to discuss something specifically about the film industry, movie industry, whatever.
I
Just
want to
let us
know.
know.
I want to know from the audience, like, what's your take on how you judge if a movie is good or not?
Yeah.
So,
Let
what
us
do you
know.
think is
Yeah.
it's important?
Let us know.
Or
Comment down below.
tell us your favorite movie. Mine is Four Brothers, so you know.
Oh,
Interesting.
good one.
Oh, I remember we played Name the Movie, and
Yeah.
what did you do again? And I instantly got it. I was like, Four Brothers.
That one?
No, but you didn't yell it like that.
Nah.
And then you were like, okay, you thought it was kind of impressive. That I
Yeah,
instantly
because
got
it's
it.
only said Bobby.
No, but you didn't say Bobby.
Wasn't it? I said Bobby. I always say Bobby.
He always
No.
says Bobby
Yeah.
regardless.
Regardless
Oh,
of
play
no
the
matter
game.
what
Like, how's
movie
it going?
is.
Bobby.
Yeah.
Bobby.
This is
Bob.
Transformers, by the way.
Bobby.
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 That's Transformers.
Yeah, that's Transformers for you.
All right, next segment is
3,
Ins-
2, 1.
Inspirational
Person.
Hey! Excitement is real.
Yes.
Just do it. Okay, so last week we had a photographer for Sombre Visuals, and his name was
Platon.
Platon.
Yeah, I gotta say it like that, right?
Oh,
Mm.
quick side note. My brother told me that he met Platon. He was at a school university lecture.
Yeah, you guys should see his face right now.
Yeah,
That's
and he was like,
It's
and
amazing.
my brother was like, yeah, he's legit with the
I'm gonna
pictures
zoom
and
in,
storytelling
don't
and all that. Like, pretty
I'm
dope.
super happy for your brother.
That's why I wanted to bring it up.
I'm extremely excited for your brother. I'll message your brother later.
Shout
and
out,
congrat
Michael.
him. Michael, you lucky little guy.
Little guy.
He's gonna kick my ass.
If Jeff's the Hulk, you should see his brother.
Yeah.
He's more like Spider-Man? No, I'm kidding.
No, he's Spider-Man.
I'm Spider-Man.
Glenn
man.
is Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Da-da-dun. My inspirational person is Andrew Schultz. I don't know if you guys know him.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's a stand-up comedian from New York, and honestly, like the way that he does his crowd work is something that inspires me, because I love doing crowd work as well. It's really fun when you're able to just communicate with the crowd when doing stand up, and it just becomes this fun conversation that someone doesn't want to have.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's just the
It's chaotic in a way, right?
Yeah.
You never know what's gonna happen.
Exactly.
It keeps it exciting.
and
Yeah.
it's a good opportunity to work on your improv,
Mm-hmm.
because you're going in blind. You're just addressing some people, and then hope in the hopes that they'll react in a way that is translatable into something funny that you can say in return.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously not right away, because you're not trying to roast anyone, but you're just trying to have a conversation to then lead up to a joke.
Right.
But I really like that, and he's been doing comedy for 12 years now, I think, because
Yeah.
I think he started back in 2008. And yeah, he's been on some TV shows, and he's also a part of a podcast,
Yeah.
which is funny.
Yeah.
And
I've also seen him on Joe Rogan.
yeah,
Yeah, I remember
And
Because-
Tiger Belly.
Tiger
he-
Belly.
he's
He's been
been,
everywhere else.
yeah.
Yeah.
he's legit like blowing up. And the thing that is also pretty funny to me to see is that he did the same thing that I'm doing now. Like he didn't wait for a broadcaster or a network to pick up his comedy special. He just filmed it himself and then released it. And I didn't know that at first, like when I was just doing some more research about his background, and then that came up, that he just recorded it, he put it on YouTube, and then he just left it there to do its own thing. And it's funny because I've always said, like, yeah, I don't want to wait for someone to pick up a special for me to release one. I'll just do it myself. And I mean, I would just hope that my career takes off in that way as well.
No.
So-
Yeah. That's a good thing,
mean,
like
but-
from nowadays, that we don't need to wait for. You used to need to get discovered.
Yeah.
But nowadays, we have the internet, so
Yeah.
you can
Free
just
platform.
you
Yeah.
post it,
You-
see if
basically,
people like.
you don't have to wait for the big man to
Mm-hmm.
No.
say, yeah, this is your chance. You can.
Eventually, hopefully,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it does lead to that. But
Yeah.
trying to make a name for yourself is not required anymore to
Yeah.
wait for that.
Right.
So that's pretty cool.
Quick question, right? It's
Yeah.
never quick, but a question.
Mm-hmm.
How does it feel? Because you were talking about crowd work, right?
Mhm.
How does it feel when you're doing a complete joke, almost to the end? You ask the question, and your friend screams, "Cactus," and ruins the punch, right? How? I know.
Never let it go.
Come on, bro.
It's funny that Glenn doesn't let it go.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you're completely fine with it.
I'm like,
I was
Oh,
like,
man.
why even?
Right.
Because you knew the question, the
I
answer.
answered it. You
Yeah.
know what? I would say I'm that engaged.
yeah,
I was
You were
that
just
engaged.
in it.
Yeah,
You were
like,
in the
oh,
show.
I know this
Yeah.
cactus, and then I'm like, oh fuck, I
ruined it.
yeah, I ruined your joke.
You had an evil smile on your face.
Yeah, afterwards I
thing
gotta
is-
play it.
Because
I
you
mean,
said it.
Inside, I was like,
I
oh,
have
fucked it
to
up.
give you a compliment. You worked in really smoothly, so you moved forward.
Yeah,
Quite nicely.
exactly. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Like, I acknowledged that you answered, because I think I laughed a little,
Mhm.
and then I just
Yeah.
went on with it. And like,
Yeah, there was a
that's-
giggle and a look of fuck you, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Why?
Actually, I
why?
want to see if that look is real.
Yeah. I don't think so.
If you guys want to see that moment, check out my comedy special, A Piece of My Mind.
Plug.
It's on YouTube right now at
Check it out.
Jeff Maduro. So
Yep.
let me know what you guys think of the situation where he yelled out "cactus."
If you, do
If you can hear it.
yeah,
Yeah,
if
you
they
can
can hear it. Oh man, cactus. Yeah, just said the punchline. He built up the entire thing, and
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Nah, it still worked, because
Yeah, it
I
worked.
think the answer is so random
Yeah.
Yeah.
that even though you said it, when I repeated it everyone was like, Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
This guy
So fucking random.
You really
Yeah.
have a problem with making choices, right?
Yeah, dude. Like, it's funny because you guys notice it more now that
Yeah.
we're working a lot more together on a daily basis.
Hmm.
That I struggle with like making up
Choices.
my mind
No.
and choices.
That's always that's always
relatable, man.
Yeah.
Mm.
Later.
Andrew shows, man. Yeah. Fuck
Yeah.
Andrew.
So, if you guys want to check out his work, he has some specials out on YouTube. A full special dedicated to crowd work as well, the crowd work special.
Oh, what?
And he got, so this is the funny thing. He did all those things on his own with his buddies. They would just do the comedy scene. And now Netflix picked up one of his specials.
Build up.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So
nice.
it was like, that's
very
dope
nice.
that he got to the point where they are covering one. I think it's the Matador special. So
Nice.
he's just
See that.
touring around now doing that. And they're filming. Oh, wait, no. Is he already? Yeah, I think he's already touring.
Yeah.
But I think they're filming it on April 22nd. 2 locations. They're filming 2 shows because of high demand. So I was like, oh, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, epic, man.
I
By
can
the way-
imagine as a comedian when you finally get to that point that Netflix asks you to
Ooh.
like,
That's
yeah,
the
let's do.
yeah.
Oof,
You
that's
made
an- Yeah, that's goals
Mm.
Mhm.
right there.
What you want
Oh,
to say?
yeah. I have a feeling that Joy Coy, the comedian, is jumping to another level at the moment. Do you know who he is?
No, I'm not sure.
He's the wait, Filipino.
Philippine?
I think.
Yeah, yeah. Joy Coy. He's a funny ass guy,
Yeah.
but because he was famous and he is famous, but
Mhm.
in this moment he's kind of blowing up to the extra level.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to check him out. I
Yeah.
think he's really funny.
Nice.
That's the funny thing because there's so many comedians out there. I'm terrible with names, but if I see the
He's
person,
the-
I remember his set,
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh yeah, that's like.
bald guy.
Mm.
I didn't picture him bald
Joy Soy.
when
Yeah.
you said his name.
Yeah,
I don't know if that means anything, but
Joy Soy.
Joy Soy. Oh, man.
He's Joy Coy.
Oh,
Joy
Joy
Coy.
Coy.
Joy
Joy
Coy.
Coy.
jeez.
You and your soy sauce, right?
Love it.
Yeah. No, but that's my inspirational person for this week.
Nice.
Nice.
So check him out,
Yeah,
and also
will do.
check out my shit.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Next segment, which
Hot-
is
The
Hot topic.
we haven't decided on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're just gonna run with this for a few weeks and then still not decide on
Yeah.
it. So I'm sorry, listeners.
Let's
Or
try to
viewers.
do
gonna
harmony
have to deal
with
with
hot topic.
Okay,
All right.
3,
2,
2,
1.
Hot
topic.
Hot topics.
Oh, that's what harmony means.
Yeah.
I
To
just
harmonize?
stopped. I just stopped
know.
after hot topic, man.
I thought we were just gonna.
Okay, can we do a whole acapella harmony just real quick?
1,
2, 3,
4.
It's Hot Topics
That's a
with 2020 podcast. The Collective.
Ocean sounds. Tranquility.
For this podcast, the hot topic is social media and creatives. How do you think social media affects creatives working on social media at the moment?
Well, thank you for your question, ma'am.
Right.
Wait,
Well, thank you,
Can
mother.
I-
My opinion.
how does social media affect?
Yeah,
the
it's
creatives?
basically how social media affects creatives.
Okay,
In the-
Dad, you don't have to scream.
So in
Jesus, Dad.
Yeah, I'm proud of you
like
guys.
as a creator or what you put
As
out
my
as a creator.
you're ruining my bit, the comedian. Give me a second to make my joke.
You're losing yourself.
All right,
In
all right.
action.
No, yeah, it's basically how do you think social media affects creatives? So, like think social media, right?
Yes.
Do you, as a photographer, do you post what you like or what people want to see? So-
Well, if I were a photographer, no.
I mean, it's the same with, I guess,
Yeah.
filmmaking.
or
Any
with my
industry.
Yeah,
random
industry.
videos as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been a firm believer and preacher. No, I'm kidding. I've been a firm believer in posting what I like.
Yeah.
Obviously, I do post things that I know other people would really enjoy, but my main focus isn't on that. So I still upload things that I like, and I know if it's not like, I can tell usually when I upload things, like an estimate of how many views they can get. If I just think like, okay, I like this video, and I'm pretty sure there's still a percentage out there that also likes it, I'll just upload it because I like it. But I also know some videos that might be trending, or a topic that's trending, and I'm like, okay, I'll do a video on it because I want to do a video on it, and I'll upload it, and I know it might go viral. Like there's more potential for it to go viral. But I don't let the social media affect me in the sense that basing my content on social media.
Yeah, because like social media gives you the opportunity to showcase your work, right?
Yeah.
At a quicker pace. But do you think it lowers the quality of your work? Because the demand is so high that you have to post almost, like for a photographer, it's almost daily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you still post the best you have, or do you follow the demand and post random things?
I don't want to say that I post the best that I have because I've put out some shit videos.
Yeah, same.
So it's like, that's not my best. It's the best of the moment, I would say.
Yeah, because you do have those ones that are high in quality.
Yeah.
But once you just fill out the in-betweens kind
You
of
just want to
quantity.
like upload things. You're like, yeah, this will do. Like,
But
I'm happy with that.
imagine back in the day without social media, you wouldn't release those, right?
No, because I think then it would be expensive to showcase your work as well. So you have to be critical. I think that still goes for songwriting. When you have an album, the basic principle, you have an album of maybe 12 tracks. You have to have at least 70, maybe 60 tracks that got to the selection point. In the ideal.
Definitely, yeah. The whole folder full of demos.
Like, and then they're like, yeah, now we're just going to be very critical. What sells?
Yeah, choose the best
because of the
ones.
production behind it and all that. And I'm like, yeah, nowadays it's not, there's not that pressure anymore, which is good, because sometimes the thing that you don't believe in turns out to be that hit. Or that thing that you were like, wait, what, this is what people like? But you had the opportunity to put it out there.
True, because you've kind of tested the waters and you're like, oh, okay, this works. This doesn't. Okay, we can just follow that.
Yep.
But
I think when money comes into play, it also
changes
it changes. Because let's say you're already there, right? So you have the money. Then I don't think it really matters what social media thinks about your work, because let's say if you're trying to make it, then you're gonna think like, okay, maybe I should upload what people like and not what I like, but I want to get there. I want to get the views. I want to get people to know me.
Still disagree with you, because Justin Bieber just put out Yummy. I don't think it's his favorite song or his best, but he put it and branded it for TikTok and social media, right?
Yeah, he wanted it to be popular.
So I think even if you're the biggest, you'll still follow a trend on social media.
Right.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Quick hits.
But
but you.
Okay.
That doesn't mean it's not creative, though.
You're right.
Yeah, because you are using the platform to kind of bring your art out in a different way.
Yeah. But still, I wouldn't believe it's his best product.
Work, his most.
Yeah.
But as a concept,
yeah, but as a product of the song alone, no.
Yeah.
From what his track,
the quality of the song.
Okay. I'm not going into.
It is creative how he's doing it.
The market,
the
market he hits.
TikTok, make it something that they can dance to, I guess.
Yeah,
in a way,
like a challenge.
But that's basically creating something completely for social media.
Right.
Yeah.
It's got a goal.
Yeah.
That's also interesting.
Yeah.
That it was created
for
a whole social media platform, and it just ranked in the charts.
Yeah.
Right.
And I
mean that's quite scary in itself.
Yeah.
Because imagine creating more yummies. Not
More
to
yummies.
call.
I like that sentence, by the way.
Yeah.
Say it again, please.
More yummies.
More yummies.
Not to
More
say it's a
yummies.
shit music, because it's not. It's kind of
It's
funny to listen to.
It's alright.
But can you imagine more artists creating that type of music?
So you're talking about the value of the art
Yeah,
itself.
Yeah.
it
That
drops
it's-
the value of
dilute
good
it,
songs.
But I think it's
into
already
something.
happening, right?
Yeah, but
Definitely, yeah.
but it didn't happen as one of the biggest stars.
Yeah.
He did it, and he
With
really
that
tweeted
intention.
out to tweet out this and use
Yeah,
he
so
actually
that's actually something interesting because something he did was, I think it was on Twitter, right?
yeah.
He reached out to all his fans asking, please, can you make a playlist on Spotify, put Yummy, like 20 tracks of Yummy, one after the other, just put it on the loop, and when you go to sleep, just let it play. So it gets a lot of hits.
Yeah.
So at that point, it becomes about, okay, that's like asking your fans to do that for you.
A pity favor.
It's like a pity
Yeah.
favor, and at that point, you notice that, okay, so Yummy isn't about, it's not about just making that song and it feels right and you want to make that as a piece of art or whatever. It has this agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
behind
Yeah, definitely.
It's less about the art, it's more about the product.
Yeah.
So it's kind of selling perfume, I guess. You
Mhm.
want them to see the brand more than liking
Experience it or
the
even
smell.
Yeah,
Oh,
like the quality of the
Yeah,
brand
yeah.
itself.
Right.
I have an interesting example of I think still it's one of my favorite, just because it wasn't only the music, it was Childish Gambino, because the internet. He first released a short a short movie, basically about nothing, just like suspenseful and stuff. Then went on a bunch of interview and was literally in his part of the character he's playing
Right.
in that album. Then you got the album, and you also had a whole screenwriter of just him, how the whole movie in his head was. So
Yeah.
then you had a whole world of it,
Right.
and that I think was executed perfectly.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
brilliant.
it, but it sounds pretty interesting.
That's just like a
Complete
very
package.
creative way
Yeah.
of presenting your work and like, I don't,
As the art.
as the art. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
like
using
this-
social media to
Right.
just in a creative cross media type of way.
Right. Yeah, more artists are doing that nowadays. I think who did that recently? Oh man, I saw something like that like a few days ago.
okay.
You know,
yeah, but I can't remember right now.
Can we let's finish the podcast with one last question.
Sure.
Alright.
From kind of the same as hot topic. Do you think social media is benefiting art, or is it degrading art? So just say your piece.
All right. Yes and no, I guess.
Same for me.
It's kind of like, for me, I'm lucky that I don't really have. I'm in my early days of my social media presence with the work I do, so it's like this blank slate right now. I can do anything I want. So in a way, I have full creativity. I'm not really tailored or forced because I don't have this big audience or this. I'm not dependent on getting money from it, so I can basically do whatever I want, and eventually, if something catches, it does. If it doesn't, I don't know.
On to the next.
Yeah. Did that answer? What was your question? I don't know.
so if social media benefits,
Benefits
Or
art.
does it benefits or degrade art? So
Oh, okay.
is it a positive thing for art itself, or no?
All right.
you
So it is. Sorry, I'll just finish this
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then you go ahead. It is beneficial for the artist, I would say, because you don't have to get discovered like we were talking about earlier. Some artists go on making things, or back then like Van Gogh or Da Vinci or whatever. Some artists they dedicate their whole life to the art, they make it, but no one ever knew about them. They die, and then suddenly they find their piece, and they're like, "This guy he's the best," but he's already dead in a way.
Yep.
We have the
In a
privilege
way.
in a way. Yeah, he's very dead. He's actually very dead. But now we have the privilege of making our things and putting it up there, and we might actually get discovered or become successful, quote unquote, while we're alive. I think that's
If you beat the algorithm,
If
and
you beat
that's
the
the part
algorithm.
that I'm a
But
little.
yeah.
The
So I
algorithm.
was
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
it really has to do with, because what goes out there and becomes famous is more shared by the popular culture.
true.
Yeah.
So the art itself might not be at the highest level
Yeah.
because it's interpreted by people, the mass,
Yes.
Right.
because that's how social
So,
media works.
Right, right, right.
Thinking about you as an artist, do you think social media downgrades it, your art, or
I mean,
the art itself,
Sorry,
not the
sorry.
opportunity it gives you?
Mhm.
I wouldn't say downgrade, but the thing is, if let's say I'm a really talented artist, let's say, and I make something that
Let's
you
live
know,
in that imaginary.
yeah,
world,
let's hypothetical.
Let's
right?
all go there, guys.
Yeah.
So let's say I make a really high quality music in
Right.
terms of music theory,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but I'm pretty sure that's not gonna be on
The
social
majority
media.
of the mass isn't gonna
It's
like
not
it per
gonna-
se,
no,
right?
it's
because
not
it's not
gonna happen.
tailored for the majority. either,
Exactly.
right?
No.
So I
Mhm.
wouldn't say it downgrades it, but
Right.
it's not
It
gonna
limits
get
you
out
maybe.
there the attention it deserves.
Mhm.
Right.
No.
Compared
happens
with
as well.
something that I already know what's gonna hit. It's the same formula,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
always the same.
I have
I-
kind of a different position at the same thing. Before you
Mhm.
go, as an artist, I have to be careful not to value my art with social media. So the
Mhm.
amount of likes,
Yeah.
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 it's I
Right. So you don't.
tend
They have to
happen.
be uncoupled. They can't be. Your art can't be dependent on the likes. That
Or
shouldn't
defined
Yeah.
by-
Yeah,
define,
yeah, yeah.
the success of it. Is that what you're
Mhm,
saying?
yeah,
Yeah.
because it's a two ways
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because
Mhm.
It's the same as valuing your art on feedback of different people, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
True.
you have to give it your art. You have to give your art the value, not the other way around. So
Very true.
yeah,
Very true.
And you should be open for the feedback.
yeah,
You don't have to take it into consideration, but
Right.
you can
Yeah.
always hear it.
yeah,
Because there
yeah.
might be something someday that you'll be like, oh,
yeah.
that is interesting.
Now,
Good
what do you
point.
guys
And-
think when you're making art that's for a client?
Mm.
Because I think the dynamic changes at that point.
Just to hop on
Oh,
Glenn's
sorry,
question
I
first.
cut
Yeah. So for me, I don't know my career without the element of social media.
Hmm.
I release random videos and stuff, and it's on social media.
Yeah.
It's on platforms that are open, like an open world platform and everything like that. So I don't have it in the sense where I would say like, no, yeah, the art, like the social media is really holding me back
Yeah.
for what I produce or what I make. Which is interesting, or at
Mhm.
least for me it is. 'Cause
Yeah, that was
Right,
a good
yeah,
point.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
We're always in it.
as I know, you also dabble in film, right?
yeah.
Think about switching up the shoes or your hat or whatever. So think of filmmaking. How would it as an art if social media would change it? Did you get my question?
No, because
'Kay.
is the shoes or in the hat important? Because
What?
Do you put your shoes for Santa Claus? Yes or no?
not anymore.
Do you put a hat for Santa Claus? Yes or no?
No.
It's not important.
Okay. I thought it was.
Oh man, that was confusing as hell.
I almost thought you would bring it to the
Clusterfuck.
point where you would say like, would I dress a certain way for a comedy set
No, I
if
think
it's
Oh.
filmed? I went to that
No,
level. and
no,
I
no.
was like, man, I
I
dress
was-
like shit. Like
I was going for
a different.
think of you as a filmmaker.
Mhm.
And does it social media change that as an art form for you?
No,
No?
or at least not for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
It might be a problem if we go back to what happened when they leaked movies. That whole year when they would leak movies that weren't released yet,
Yeah.
and people downloaded them and they kept spreading around. Then you lose traction for your box office.
Mm-hmm.
That is a problem.
That's a
Alright.
I would say.
If you didn't worry about the algorithm of Facebook or whatever that you have to post a lot, right?
Oh, the algorithm. Okay.
Would you post less often with higher quality videos? Or would you keep posting from your phone? So with a
Oh, you
whole
call it-
production. No, both are great.
You already knew what I was gonna joke
Oh, man.
about.
This guy's ego, right?
Are you dissing my phone, man? No, that's
You have an iPhone, right?
Yeah.
We all know how I like an iPhone product.
No, but that's the thing. If it's based on the algorithm, it's different.
Yeah.
Because I have had a punch by the algorithm like a few months back, and I could tell Because if I would just release a video, I can always see the reach and how much traffic there is and everything. And there was this slump where it was just not getting out there. And I asked people, like, did you see it? And they were like, we didn't even see it on our
Yep.
feed. And I was like, that's the
that's
algorithm.
annoying.
Like,
Yeah.
And
really,
that sucks
yeah.
because the video
Mhm.
just goes.
Yeah, it
Right.
disappears in
away
there. You're
like
like,
that.
oh,
Yeah.
shit, okay.
It's like
Even
it
though-
never happened.
Exactly.
I asked something earlier about, I think, about having a moment here. Give me a second.
Take your time.
Have your moment, please.
Client, working with a client.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So working with a client versus just making your art. And I think at that point it changes the dynamic.
Yeah.
Because when you make your art, it's for yourself in a way.
Yeah.
No.
You make something, you express yourself, you put it out there. If people like it, cool.
And
If
you
they
deal with
don't,
it,
you know,
yeah.
whatever. But when you have a client,
It's their wishes, you know.
yeah.
Like,
So is it art at that? Is it still considered art, right? Because it becomes a product in a way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
but
have to
I w-
fit certain standards.
I would say it's still,
it's an art form.
yeah, it will still be an art
Mm-hmm.
because it's 50% you, right?
Yeah.
So they come to you because they like your style of designing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still you, but
Right.
manufactured in a way that they would like to see their product.
Right.
So, yeah, it's
I've-
still
I
your
mean,
art.
It's
I've had that like hands-on when people book me for events,
Mhm.
so that I'll like opening the event or I'll MC the event, and then I lose the art form from it. I would say there's maybe 25% art for me in it, and then 75% what they want.
Yeah.
And I don't really like that because it feels like you have to be tiptoeing.
Yeah.
During
You're
the
always
event.
tiptoeing.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because I ask them, like, is there strong language? Is it, like, censored? Is it PG? Are the
Yeah.
kids there? What do you want me to talk about? And then
Mhm.
they always, just talk about this and that. I'm like, no, just give me a set
Yeah.
thing where you want me to work within, like,
Right.
the frame of topics. Because if I go with, I'll just feel it, is pretty sure that I can go towards something that they're not going to like.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
can feel the room, obviously,
Right.
when doing
Yeah.
that. But that was a challenge for me to be able to commercialize my craft
Right.
some more for
Yeah.
companies.
Mm-hmm.
It's the
Mm.
same as photography. That's why I don't take all jobs that come to me.
Yeah.
I have a certain style. I like portraits. I do weddings. There's like, you wouldn't see me at an event
Yeah.
Yeah.
because that's basically taking the shot of what happened. It's not creating a moment, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I would prefer doing something that I can create something with.
Mhm.
So no, there's certain work I will never do, even if I'm poor.
Yeah.
Here's a
Good way to say
quick
it, yeah.
quick question for you. How much do you alter your style when it
Ooh.
comes to that situation where you have a client? So you have to also, how much are you willing to?
You have to give me a kind of a client because I do work with different, right?
Right.
So if it's a company, I kind of
More
try-
corporate,
more corporate, more with their brand, but still with my type of shots, right?
right?
But if it's a portrait shoot, it's
Or for my
almost
show. or
it's
something.
almost me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they come for my style of photography. If
Mhm.
it's wedding as well, that's why I show my portfolio, and I'm quite unique with my. It's kind of a dirty feel to it.
organic.
If people want to understand what's dirty,
Noise.
go
Yeah. It means more.
gritty.
Yeah, gritty.
Has a more texture to it. I
Right.
guess.
Um,
See my
yeah,
Instagram, Sombre Visuals. You know it.
Whoa.
And,
You know it.
You
know it. You already know it.
Yeah.
But go to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I would say that I don't like changing my style too much from when I get booked.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I just can't fit in my own style, I'll just tell them, like, sorry, I'm not the comedian
Mhm.
that
You
you're
want.
supposed to be looking for.
Right.
You know, when I get, you guys remind me, I always get pissed off when people kind of, hey, yeah, could you play this gig? Awesome, cool. They
Mhm.
don't tell me any information about it. So I show up there, express my own songs and stuff. Then it's like,
What are you doing?
someone comes up to me in the end, like 3/4, a half of way, just, hey,
Is it
people
possible?
are, could you play some popular music?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
And I'm just staring like, okay, come on, really?
Here's,
I also
here's
had the
a
same.
serious question for you. How
Yo.
many times did someone ask you to play Wonderwall?
I mean,
the Yeah,
the
go
one
for it.
performance we actually did outside of school, because we went to like the talent
Talent
thing.
show?
But we actually got a request to perform at a party. It was like a
Yeah.
party,
Yeah.
and we were covering his songs. We have a
Yeah.
set list, and then like he mentioned, someone comes up.
Hey,
Do you guys know any Dutch songs or popular songs?
Do you
The
know some
thing
Ed
is,
Sheeran?
Yeah,
the
Ed
Disney songs.
Did I show my disgust a little bit too much towards Dutch songs? You said Dutch songs. I was like, oh.
I mean, yeah, we don't cover that, but
Yeah.
You
yeah,
don't
they
cover
actually
Northern Platoon?
No.
Yeah, wow.
they
Isn't that
actually
late?
began singing Wonderwall.
Oh
And
wow, they're
we-
like, fuck you guys. You guys aren't. We're just start singing ourselves.
Just sing the
anyways.
song. They're they're gonna.
Yeah, we'll fill in the
follow.
lyrics.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We'll help out.
Uh-huh.
And
Just
we
start the
actually
joke.
did. We actually
Start the
did.
joke and we'll help you out through the way. No.
Cactus.
Yep.
It just doesn't work.
I mean, at some point, I was playing Disney songs,
Oh,
and they were singing.
yeah, man.
Hey.
Did you play
Just
the
to please
Mulan
them.
one?
But that was a party that
What?
worked.
We are men. The one from Mulan. or
Oh
like that?
no, I did like Frozen,
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Lion
Oh,
King.
man, not even the good ones, huh?
Yeah.
Not even the good one.
Yo.
Not even Pocahontas, right?
Huh.
Oh,
I think we went through
Oh.
that possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Underrated.
Underrated. Yeah.
Underrated.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Go watch it.
But hey,
Super.
I guess we can.
That's a round off
Yeah.
for this week's episode number 3.
let it go.
Let
it
go. Don't copyright this video. Or
Wow, man.
podcast.
Remember
follow
to
our
follow all our channels and social media platforms or whatever pages. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate it. It really helps us out a
Yes.
bunch. So without
Thank
further
you.
ado, thank you very much.
Thank you. Sorry. Quick note. Next week there's something new coming out. Something a little bit different. So stay tuned for that as well.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right.
Peace.
Peace. Ciao.